Hi, welcome, and thank you so much for taking out the opportunity to check out episode 2 of Armchair Astrology. I'm your host, Bear River, the Reiki Master and Astrologer of Psyche and Soul Astrology. Now it's my mission to help you remain grounded and empowered while you accelerate your growth with these, let's call them synchronicity tune-ups. Now this week we'll be talking about the astrology of Tuesday, January 29th through Monday, February the 3rd. If you liked the questions of the week last week, then be sure to stay tuned till the end. This week, I'll be posing some questions based on your moon sign. And of course, if you have any questions about that, feel free to drop a question, comment, anything else you like down in the comment section below. Now, let's get started. Now, in a lot of ways, this week is going to be a little bit easier to talk about because we don't have any new big aspects going on. We actually have the separation of aspects. And what I mean by that is if this is the moon and this is another planet, let's make it easier. If this is the sun and this is the moon going by, then as the moon comes by between you or on the earth and this camera here, now as the moon comes by, we get a conjunction and it applies as it gets closer and it separates as it gets further. So it's a really, really easy thing. And what it means is that the effects of those big, intense transits from last week are starting to wane. They're starting to release and ease up, and we're all starting to get a little bit more breathing room. Now, the big theme for the week, I'm calling this theme working with free will. Now, I say working with free will because since we are in Aquarius season, happy birthday, what up, all y'all Aquarius babies? That means that every day at sunrise, Saturn, the traditional ruler of Aquarius, is gonna be kind of like setting the vibe and the tone for the day from behind the scenes. Basically, during Aquarius season, Saturn's the boss, and maybe Uranus is like the VP or second in command or something like that. But what we have is a time period where we are really, really working. Patience, determination, perseverance. These are big themes whenever we have heavy Saturn energy, and we have that especially this year because Saturn is in Capricorn, the sign that it traditionally rules. So for Tuesday, the 29th of January, I'm seeing it being actually relatively simple and straightforward. The only big real news that we have to talk about is that we've got Mars still applying into the square with Pluto. So there is going to be a little bit of tension there, but it's different than that Mars square Saturn that we talked about last week, and I've talked about in some other places too in the social media. Look in the description box for information on that stuff. Now, we've talked about this Saturn and Mars square, this like work, ambition, goals. It's very accomplishment oriented, and it's very much about figuring out the strategy and just soldiering through until we reach our own personal summit of our own personal Everest. Now, with this Mars-Pluto square, it's a little bit different of a vibe. Now, if we think about the fact that Mars classically and Pluto modernly are both considered to be rulers of Scorpio, we can see that there is a little bit of overlap or kind of they're on the same page in a certain way. And what I mean by that is that Mars is a planet that is about our passions, right? And Mars right now is in domicile, or it's ruling the sign that it's in. Mars in Aries is very much about the immediacy of our urges and instincts and passions, and then just boom, going and doing it. Pluto in Capricorn, on the other hand, is doing some very interesting, slow, methodical transformation of the structures that make up our life. Now, on a more global scale, this week, I'm saying definitely keep an eye on politics, especially if you're US-based or you find US politics to be interesting, as Pluto moves to oppose some pretty significant points in the chart for the US. We're going to see more eruptions of stuff going on, because Pluto is a planet that rules volcanoes. So that's it for Monday. Super, super simple. With these armchair astrology videos, my goal is to kind of smash through the week so that you can focus on the questions, dig in a little bit deeper. And if you want something more specific for each and every day, be sure to check out and follow my Instagram, my daily divinations. Every single day I'll give you a challenge and a question to help you work with the energy of the planets that day. So let's keep moving along. Wednesday, January 30th, the moon is going to be moving through the sign of Sagittarius, and the moon is actually going to hit the same point where she was if you think she's grandma, or he was if you think that he's your brother. But however you look at the moon, if you personify it, the moon's going to be moving through the same territory where we had 2018's final new moon. So whatever intentions you set, think back to December 6th of 2018. What intentions did you set then, and where are they at now? Right now, Wednesday, January the 30th, you're gonna be really starting to get a sense of what actually happened. You're a full cycle in at this point, and the results are not only in, but you're starting to see how they are going to play out in real time with other people. So more of that kind of hard to get, slow to find data is starting to accumulate. Now, the overall tone that I see for Wednesday the 30th is big inspiration. With this big inspiration, it's really important to keep an idea log with you, or keep your phone handy, whether you record your voice or you write something down on the screen. You're gonna wanna be sure to keep an idea log on your person. We've got Venus, the planet that has to do with our values, but also our aesthetics, so think art, coming in and applying, so moving closer to harmonizing with Uranus. Now, Uranus is a planet that can be related to inspiration, but things that are like, aha, eureka, instantaneous. Now, as these two planets start to do their thing, and the moon's gonna be moving through Sagittarius, kind of amplifying that Sagittarius horse archer energy, we've got a situation where we might be feeling really inclined to art, or beautiful ideas are just gonna suddenly pop into your mind. So do yourself a favor, be sure to keep an idea log or something like that with you so that you can harness those and come back to them and allow those inspiring thought processes to be something that comes, that you have an opportunity to work with over time. On Thursday, the 31st, the moon will be conjunct Venus. Now, the moon moves so quickly through the zodiac that when the moon is conjunct a planet, it's usually a very quick aspect, just like oftentimes our emotions are very fleeting. That being said, on the heels of Wednesday, where we're getting these inspiring, beautiful thoughts, Thursday is a really, really great idea to just feel into them. Feel into that inspiration and allow your mind to really start to work with those ideas. Like I said, I'm keeping this fast and we're keeping it moving. We're talking about Friday, February the 1st. We're into the second month of 2019. I can't believe how fast it's going, but going it is. Now, on this day, we are going to have a little bit of tension kind of throwing its way into the mix. Now, I talked about, for this week in general, Mars moving into square Pluto is going to be a bit of what's up. That's kind of our only real big new aspect. We've got those other ones that are kind of separating, and the aftermath is starting to kind of flow in, and we're figuring out what happened. Whereas with this Mars-Pluto square, we're really getting a little kick in the pants to do something. Anything that needs to go must go now. That's the idea. Think about Mars ruling sharp things and separation. Mars is a planet that defends ourselves against the things that we don't want and goes after the things that we do. Now, when Mars and Pluto are, we can call it a beef if we want to. If Mars and Pluto are beefing, that means we either have to do one of two things. We either need to integrate the impulse to go do new stuff and this deep, tremendous need on like a soul evolutionary level, karmic level, to transform the structures in our lives. Now, obviously that can work. We can totally do new stuff to transform the old. Our other option is to integrate these two, and in my experience, it tends to yield a little more, maybe not predictable, but work withable results when we go for integrating energies versus kind of vying with one or the other. Now, because both of these planets are in cardinal signs, those cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, and those types of signs have an energy that's about initiation. That's about, think about the start of each season. That's when we get Aries season, Capricorn season, Cancer season, Libra season. These have to do with the equinoxes and the solstices, which always start a season. So it's about starting and initiating. This is really what we're seeing. Now, we got a few more things to tie it together with Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and then I'll give you those moon questions. Okay, I said I'd give you those moon questions, but one last quick note on Friday. So the moon is going to be moving through Capricorn, and that's where I'm really seeing the need to take this Mars-Pluto energy and really focus on patience, persistence, perseverance. Now, that's going to connect to some other Mars stuff that we've talked about a bit, and that's this Mars-Saturn square. Now, this week, I said we've got some aspects that are separating, and that's going to be the squares between Mars and Saturn, the squares between Jupiter and Neptune, and the square, which was really fleeting, but that was the third quarter moon back on Monday. And with all of those kind of easing up and all of those kind of stacking on each other and interrelating in various ways, what we have is the need to decide, am I going to stay or am I going to go? The universe is not giving you a need to do one or the other. It's really about your choice. So if there is a thing that you started back in April of 2018 and you really want it to come to pass, now is the time to dig deep, get that grit, get that determination, and keep working your mission. So now we can talk about Saturday, February the 2nd. It's 2-2. I really like that day just because it's 2 and 2 and, you know, good numbers and everything. So with February the 2nd, this Saturday, what was your eclipse lesson? This is the big question that everyone can take. This isn't for any specific moon sign, for everyone. Because we are hitting a point where the moon is going to pass the point of the solar eclipse that was January 6th or 5th, depending on where you were in the world. And then the following day is going to hit the point where the total lunar blood moon full eclipse, all that business, where that total lunar eclipse took place at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So this Saturday, the 2nd, and then also Sunday, the 3rd, what we are looking at is really like the results are in. We've been getting inklings and hints, and we've been starting to see how things are playing out. But now is the point where we get to actually look back and have some hindsight and get that 2020 going on, when we say, this is what I was meant to learn. This is what I need to do. This is why these things emerged in my reality. Which begs the question. And I'm not saying that as a philosopher, I'm just saying, like, it makes you really want to ask yourself, what am I going to do about it? What am I going to do about these lessons that emerged for me? Now, I don't know what your lesson was. I don't know what happened, and I don't know what it is you need to do to remain grounded and empowered and to continue to accelerate your growth. What I do know is that each and every one of us are at a point right now as we transition out of January into February, as we kind of do this last little bit of activating and releasing these last couple moon cycles, we've all got an opportunity to really take a more mature approach to ourselves, to our needs, and to our growth. So that's what I got to say about Saturday. Let's hit these last couple days of the week so that you can get to your questions. All right, so for both Sunday and Monday, we're gonna have the moon in the sign of Aquarius. So on Sunday, we get that initial activation of the total lunar eclipse point. So that first degree of Leo and Aquarius is gonna be activated as the moon kind of cruises through there. Now, this is gonna set us up for the new moon in Aquarius, our first normal full moon, if you can call anything having to do with Aquarius normal. So that's going to be a whole different video. Stay tuned for that. That's going to be out before the next episode of Armchair Astrology. I'll break down the Aquarius new moon cycle, what that means, give you a challenge, all the usual tangible takeaways that allow you to tune up your own synchronicity frequency and really stay in that grounded, empowered growth space that I'm so excited about. So that's really it. We could go into some more details, but that's really going to be more useful if we're looking at your specific chart. Now, as far as specific charts are concerned, I am an astrologer. I offer consultations, and not only do I offer consultations, I offer a sliding scale. So if you have always wanted a reading, but you thought you couldn't access one, please do feel free, hit me up. I'll be sure to drop my email down in the description box below. Of course, you can go visit my website, visit the consultations page. I've got all that stuff set up for you on the website to take part of a sliding scale service if that is right for you, or to book a big old full-on session if you've got the resources for that. So without further ado, we're gonna launch into these moon sign questions. Aries moon. This one is for you. Now, I'm going to give you 4 questions. Feel free to use any or all of them. Feel free to respond to them in the comments below. Hit me up on some other social media if you want to. That's all I got to say about it. Let's do these questions. Aries moon. How is focusing on nurturing yourself causing you to change? What are you learning? What are people noticing about you? And which friends can you really rely on? So I want you to ponder this. If you want to ponder it in a general sense, think about this. How is nurturing yourself or focusing on nurturing and security allowing you to learn about yourself, the way that you're perceived, and the friends in your life? Taurus moon. My steady bull friends. You have an exalted moon in Taurus, so all the moon stuff is really gonna hit you in a more pronounced way than some of the other signs, maybe Cancer accepted. So for you, I want you to ask yourself, how is gentle, soft, loving, nurturing, supportive communication changing your relationships? What part of you is transformed when you practice nonviolent communication, gentle communication, when you focus on nurturing with your words, with your mouth? And then your last questions. What does this journey mean to you? And how does this change your own feeling of security? So how is focusing on gentle, nurturing, supportive, kind speech changing your relationships? How is that informing your own journey, helping you to derive meaning from your journey? How is that changing your sense of security, and what part of you is transformed when you practice, let's just call it skillful speech? Geminis, I got some questions for you. So for you Gemini moon selves, I want you to really think about how putting attention on your own talents and resources is actually changing your day-to-day life. Now, who are your allies in this day-to-day change that you're taking on? Who are the people who are helping you really make the most of your talents and your resources? Now, we could think of it this way. Who are your allies along the learning curve? What is it that you're sharing with those folks, with the world, whoever it may be? And lastly, what new or different energy is entering your life right now? So I really want you to think about, how is investing or focusing on your talent and your resources really changing your life in a day-to-day manner? Could be related to work. Who are the people that are really participating in that learning curve with you? What are the things that you're sharing, and what new stuff has emerged into your life? Cancer moons, this has been quite a time for you. I'm sure this whole eclipse period, like all the eclipses that happen in Cancer and Capricorn, are gonna be pretty potent for you. So I'm gonna keep it real simple for you. How are you feeling? Like really, when you check in deep with yourself, what emotions are coming up for you? What are you enjoying? Be it food, games, pleasure, sex, romance, competition, whatever else it may be. What are you enjoying in your life right now? Now, let's go a little bit deeper here, but I promise I'm going to still keep it easy. What daily actions support your creative expression? Are you juicing every morning? Are you taking a nice bath? Are you reading, walking, journaling? Whatever it may be, there's no right answer. Just really check in with yourself. What daily actions are supporting your creative expression right now? And then, what are you releasing? What are you letting go out of your life? Cancer moons, sit with those questions, answer them publicly, share your answers if you want to, keep them to yourself if you prefer, but really let yourself feel your feelings and release them to the best of your ability. Leo moons, I do not have one, but I'm very Leo with you. If you got a Leo moon, have you allowed yourself to retreat? Now, I don't mean like, have you given up and surrendered? That is not what I'm asking. I'm saying, have you allowed yourself some retreat, some rejuvenation? Have you let yourself be alone to recharge those very, very sensitive Leo batteries? Promise I won't tell people that you're sensitive, but your batteries are very sensitive. Now, what do you need to feel secure at home? Now this one, for a lot of Leos, I know you're like, I got the sun, I got a place to take a nap, and there's food, I'm set. But there are feelings more tender than those. And I really want you to consider now, especially this week, what do you need in order to be able to feel secure in your home? Do you need it to be quiet? Do you need music to be playing? Do you need bright colors, candles, sage, whatever it may be? Just consider it, and if you got the energy and the resources, do one of those things. Just pick one, something simple. If you need your space to be saged, then by all means, smudge your space. If you need music to play, then find some music that really gives you joy and play it gently and softly in the background. Or blast that motherfucking shit, slap them tunes, whatever you gotta do. I really want you to invest this week in making yourself feel more secure in your own home. Last two questions are more interrelated than they seem, and I want you to really sit with the way in which they are interrelated. How are you building your health? How are you building your health? And are you giving and receiving enough affection? So consider the way that your health and your need for affection are related, and be honest with yourself in answering those questions. My Virgo moons. This would be an interesting time for you right now, I would imagine, with Mercury, the ruler of your moon, being in a little bit of an awkward position right now. Not the weakest place that Mercury could be, but definitely a little bit challenged, a little bit strained, and super consumed by the sun right now. So I want you to really think about these questions as an opportunity to shed some consciousness, some conscious awareness on some aspects of your kind of like undertones or undercurrents of your life that might not be so easy to see or grasp right now. So what are your friends teaching you? Now I know that, wherever Virgo may be in your chart is a place where you know exactly what's right and what's wrong and how to get there. But I want you to consider that perhaps your friends have been teaching you something really profound in your life about yourself that you really need to know. And then, in a weird way, this sort of leads to the next question, which is, how's your relationship with your inner child? Have you made friends with your inner child? Can you have more fun? Is it possible? Can you do more things that are fun for you or for your inner child? Either way, could be both also. And what would that look like to have more fun? That's actually not your final question. Your final question, and this is a real simple one. When was the last time you cooked for yourself, Virgo moons? If you got the space and the resources and the time, I implore you to cook yourself a really nice meal. If there's someone else who eats in your house with you, let them eat what you eat or make their own bowl of cereal. Cook for your damn self, Virgo moons. Libra moons, I mean this in the nicest possible way. This question is not some sort of weird backhanded compliment, side eyes, salty. It ain't salty. What I'm saying is sincere right now, but really, what's your reputation? What reputation have you earned for yourself, and are you comfortable with it? Do you like it? Are you standing up for your values, for your principles, your ethics or aesthetics or whatever you call it? We're talking philosophy of values here, and I really would suggest you think about the connection between your reputation and your values. whether you love your reputation, then just consider what values have led people to view you in that specific way. Or if you're less than pleased, what values would you be proud to be recognized for, good or bad? Be the recognition or attention or whatever. And then the last questions are a little bit more lighthearted, and they're also equally not salty. What are you reading right now? Or writing, or talking about, but really what types of words are you putting into your ear holes and your eye holes, and how is that affecting your brain case? And your last question, Virgo, when was the last time you played a game? And I don't mean like games with people. Again, I'm not being all salty, backhandy, side-eyedy, anything like that. Libras, y'all are principled, and y'all are social, and y'all do your best to be judicious and fair, which is where some of those kind of snide reputation things about Libra come into play. What I am asking you about is, when was the last time you like got competitive? Whether you're like a Go Fish or a Checkers or a Connect Four kind of person, or if you're like getting some crazy Castles of Burgundy, like massive board game and stuff going on. When was the last time you had fun playing a game? Scorpio moons, you like it intense and brutally to the point, so I'm just gonna smash these ones out for you. What are you exploring, and who does that make you? What talents are you developing, and how deeply have you explored your roots? All right, Sag moons, what are you investigating? I don't mean exploring, I'm not using a synonym for exploration. Sag moons, I know you're about that life. What are you investigating? What are you coming to time and time again, digging deeper and deeper each time? What are you investigating? And how do you connect to the great ineffable? Or spirit, or great mystery, or the universe, or God, or whatever other word means the thing that is so awesome and powerful and all-encompassing that we can't even really make up a good word for it. How do you connect to that? And where is it that you want to go? You are Sag folk, of course you do want to go somewhere. You're all about exploring, getting to the horizon. So where is it that you want to go? And what tangible, practical, smallest, next most immediate step do you need to take to start getting there? My unflappable Capricorn moons, who are your peeps? Like your people, your tribe, your chosen family, your blood family, or like who are your peers? And I mean that is different than your peeps. Who are your peeps? Who are the people that you're like, that's my folks, ride or die for them? And then who are your peers? Who are the folks in your professional life, in your social life, who are really surrounding you, who are helping to reflect back your own insides from the outside, and are you letting them get to you? Now, I don't mean like under your skin, annoy you. Are you letting them get the better of you? That's not at all what I'm talking about. This ain't no high road shit that we're talking about. What I mean is, are you letting the people in your life influence you? And maybe not change, but gently massage the hard edges of your identity. Are you letting those folks get to you in a good way? How might the intelligence or information of your friends be crucial and vital to the process of you growing and developing your own talents and resources? I want you to really, really ponder that. You know, you're like, sea mountain goats all alone on the edge of crazy cliffs and crags and shit. We are all also human animals, and we're social. So who are the people in your life whose intelligence or knowledge or experience or information might be vitally necessary in order for you to continue to grow and develop your talents and your resources and yourself in the way that feels most fulfilling to you personally? Aquarius moons, my people, what are we doing even? What are you doing? Like, take a step back from your oh so very objective perspective and shine that perspective on yourself. What are you doing with yourself, with your life? Or like, what are the actual things that you are creating and doing right now? Like right now I'm making videos and social media engagement and going way outside my comfort zone talking into a camera this much. That's what I'm doing. What are you doing, fellow Aquarius moon? What is your purpose in doing whatever it is you're doing right now? I know this last eclipse was like a doozy. Really. It's been a lot, and I know myself, I've kind of been standing back like, what in the fuck is actually going on right now? Pardon my language. Not for children. What are you doing, and what is its purpose? Who are you doing it for? Or what cause are you doing it for? Like, if you're doing some serious activism or art as activism, then ask yourself, like, what is the purpose in the art that I'm creating? Who is this art meant to affect? And then your last question is, who does that make you? Who do you become in being a stand for the acts of creation and the purpose behind that creation and the folks that you create for? Who does that make you? Last, but most certainly never least, in fact, you're kind of like the alpha, omega, the all and everything of everything. Pisces moons, you know I'm talking about you. Are you making art? Or if not art, then what does the journey of creation mean to you? Maybe you're a parent and you like getting real literal and pro-creative with your thinking. Creation is about birthing a whole new human being into the earth. Or maybe it means something else, but ask yourself, what does the journey of creation mean to you? And whatever it is that you're creating, is it something physical or abstract? Is it something that you release into the world, like a novelist releases a book, or a musician releases an album, and then once it's out there, it means whatever the audience says it means, whatever the reader gets out of that book, whatever the viewer or participant makes or experiences of meaning, that's what the meaning of your art becomes. Are you doing that? And get metaphorical with it. Are you doing that in any way in your life? And what ways are you doing it, and what does it mean to you? Now, that's it. We made it through questions for all 12 moon signs. If you have further questions, or if you're like, but wait, those houses that you were clearly implying don't apply to my chart, then hit me up down below. You know the drill. Ask me a question, shoot me an email, visit my website. Lots of ways to do it. I am always more than happy. I am thrilled and overjoyed the opportunity to guide, assist, mentor, or just witness each and every one of you. So that's it. This has been Armchair Astrology Episode 2. I am Bear River, your host, astrologer and Reiki master of Psyche and Soul Astrology, signing off saying thank you so very much for taking the time and the opportunity to watch this video. Of course, if you haven't already, please consider clicking that subscribe button over there, over here. Consider hitting the subscribe button and ringing the notification bell if you would like to receive alerts whenever new content becomes available. One last time, until we meet again, thank you.